With respect to PHRF-LO memberships, there are no resignations been received in 2021, which is wonderful. There have been applications received from Trident Yacht Club and Newport Yacht Club of Rochester. Trident has been assigned to the Eastern District and Newport to the Rochester District as provisional members. Oak Orchard continues as a provisional member in the Rochester District. Hopefully these three clubs can be submitted for member acceptance in 2023. So now I call upon Allison to present the 2022 budget. Please, Allison.
Okay, hang on a minute. I need to get my data up here. Give me a minute.
While you're doing that, there was a question about where this Newport is, and it is located in Rochester, New York, as opposed to next door to Hamilton.
Fran, can you offer a specific location? Is it in Irondequoit Bay or is it in Rochester Bay in the Genesee River?
No, it is. You're correct. It's in Irondequoit Bay.
Irondequoit, yeah.
I actually thought there was only small boats that were in there, but I guess they have a couple of decent boats. I'm not quite sure how this is all going to work out because there are definitely depth problems in Irondequoit Bay. But they have a couple of enthusiastic racers and hopefully we can keep them going.
Wonderful.
And grow it.
That's fantastic news.
Okay, Owen,
Yes.
can you fire up the presentation? I'm having technical difficulties at my end.
Okay, let me grab this. All righty. Just give me one moment to get the menu up.
Kim has identified that Oak Orchard is not in Irondequoit, which is correct.
No.
Oak Orchard
It's about halfway down.
It's west of Rochester, about halfway between Rochester and Niagara.
Yeah, near the power plant.
Okay, is my screen being adequately shared?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Let's see if I can. One thing I do not like about this is that I'm trying to get it to full screen. Are you now seeing a full screen?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, great.
Here we go. Up, up, up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
There.
Oh,
Down.
there we go. There, that should be where we are right now, folks. And are you seeing the full screen?
Yep, so we've done that one. We'll go to the next
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Excellent. So here's the budget proposal. Allison, please take it away.
Right.
And thank you, Kim, for providing all of the answers around where Newport is. Much appreciated.
Okay. As you can see here, our 2022 income is based on the 2021 certificates that were issued at the 2021 certificate fee. And with the race results based on what we have received in 2021. So that's what we're looking at in terms of our income for next year. It's really not an estimate, it's fairly accurate. The only variable there is if we can manage to get more donations and or if people do a lot of non-member certificates and rush fees. That's the estimates that we have for our expenses in this upcoming year. The major change there is we need to look at getting ourselves a new laptop. And as you can see, we're looking at a differential there of about $2,500. We're still forecasting that it's going to cost us more to operate than we're going to have an income, which is why I'm suggesting that we look at a certificate fee increase for 2022. So right now, what I'd like to do is ask that the members authorize the 2022 expenditures as outlined here in the budget. Are there any questions?
Okay, so we need a mover and a seconder. and then entertain questions, and then I call the vote. So we had somebody to move and somebody to second, please.
I'll move.
Owen and
I'll
Mike
second.
Brown, I will
Okay.
second.
Mike
Oh,
Brown, second.
Okay.
Okay, so any questions on the proposed budget? Use the Q&A factor or option available.
And we will have a poll on this, and I will launch that. Would you like me to run the poll and launch it, Alice?
If you can, yes.
Yeah, I have the full menu right
Okay,
now
good.
again, because I think I have full host duties. So Ron has a question. Why are office expenses higher?
That's the, we're budgeting $3,000
For a new
for
laptop.
a new laptop. Are you asking why the extra $400 over the budget last year? Hello?
There are no questions up on that. I assume that's what it is. And I would suggest that's inflation plus the laptop replacement and a bit of plus minus on that. Right, Allison?
Okay, and yes, and in terms of the office expense, there was some significant mailing. And I will need to dig into that a little bit further and provide more detail. If you would like to follow up with me personally, please don't hesitate at finance@PHRF-LO.org, and I can give you more detail.
Allison, I believe that actual expense was sending out the burgees to the clubs, was it not?
Partially.
And the second question was the laptop, why is it not amortized? And the administrative expenses of keeping that and the fact that we are a nonprofit, et cetera, it's just more expeditious to expense them every 5 to 6 years when they show up.
In terms of how we'll treat this going forward, I think that's a wonderful suggestion, and we will take that under consideration. I appreciate that recommendation.
I have another question. Do we still budget for 1 year of money surplus?
That was what I showed you before, which was the, I can't remember what screen that was, which showed what we have, about $50,000, which is approximately the right amount.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much, Allison. Should we get to the vote on this? Last call for any questions to be typed in. Okay, I think it's time to launch the poll here. Oops. Yeah. Yes, and we have a ringing endorsement from a chartered accountant on our team who says what we're doing is absolutely correct. So let's get this poll launched and move on. And just to let everyone know, I've flipped on the facility that permits panelists to vote. So please do not abuse that. And what I'll do is I'll give these polls about 45 seconds, and we're about 30 seconds in. So I'll give you another 15 or so, and then we can move on with the agenda.
Yeah, because ideally, all of us have to get out and go ice boating after this.
Yeah, if we don't stick to the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, we have over
Stay away from those
70%
pressure
of
ridges.
everyone participating right now, and everyone is 92% are in favor and 3 people abstained. So I think that is a clear carry.
Okay.
So, great. So
Allison, it remains with you.
So can we move on to the next slide? Because we need to
Yes.
look at the certificate fee and the rush fee. And so that's what I am proposing, is that we look at, because this is looking at how the effect on our income in 2023. And I am proposing that we increase our certificate fee from $40.40 plus applicable taxes, which is only Canadians, to $44.25. And maintaining the $5 race results credit. And what I'm saying is that for this year's invoicing, we're going to be basing our deposits on the 2021 numbers. Now, there are some clubs that will be due a refund from us, and we will deal with each one of them separately. There's only one of them that I would consider a little sketchy, and that would be because although they only got a limited number of certificates, they had significantly more boats actually racing during the season. And we're going to have to figure out as an organization how we're going to deal with those kinds of clubs going forward. So for the February invoice, we're looking at, just as I've outlined there, and the Americans don't need to get their knickers in a twist because they don't have that 13% in there for them, as HST does not apply. And so there's a call on that for a vote of changing the certificate fee for 2022 to $44.25.
So if I can just jump in on my brief soapbox, is as long as I've sailed, the PHRF certificate has always been the case of beer currency, meaning it costs about what a case of beer costs to get a PHRF certificate for your boat. I don't think people squawk too much about buying a case of beer for on their boat, and ideally people recognize the value add of a PHRF certificate at $44 or at this fee. It is great value. I think you can appreciate the amount of work that is done by volunteers, and and that we do need professional support to ensure that the volunteers can do the work. So I think we've struck the right balance over the years and years and years of PHRF-LO, and I would expect that somebody would find this to be great value compared to what they would spend on dock lines or a pro start or a new sail or diesel for their fuel. So ideally, you support it and recognize it, and not only do you support it, if you hear somebody complain about it, describe to them the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes to ensure that there's good value in providing this service to you. It's important that we live autonomously from other areas because of the unique nature of the areas that we capture, and how we do recognize and respect variations of sailing conditions and factor that into rating and build those conversations into it. So whether it's Georgian Bay or further down the St. Lawrence or on the Ottawa River or on Lake Simcoe or somewhere on Lake Ontario, we recognize that, and we think we provide a good product.
So we do have vote number 4. And one little clarification that came up in the Q&A was, why don't we round it up to an even dollar amount? The price is plus applicable taxes in Canada, which does round up to usually an even number, like $45.
Precisely $50.
$50. So, but we show it without the tax because our American members do not pay it. So please bear that in mind, that we are thinking about that, folks.
Oh, and it's up weird anyway for the Americans because it's $44.25 Canadian.
Yeah. So you have to now multiply that by 0.8 or 0.78 to get US dollars. We do have a question, and it's actually kind of funny. I was looking up some of the fees across Canada last night because I anticipated this question of how do we compare against other PHRF organizations. Out on the West Coast, they charge $65. A lot of the US ones are US $50 to $60 to $75. And on the East Coast, we're actually still a little cheaper than they are. And as Scott Lyons has just mentioned, and it is a well-known fact, we try and price our certificate at the case of beer. So he's telling me some Labatt's Blue is $40 a case. So let's assume people like taking an Ontario craft brewery, and we're considerably cheaper than 18 craft beers. So we'll go to the vote now, and I'll kick off launch on that. And John says, please remember, John from Whitby says, please remind people about this when they hit the bar, that, you know, your certificate's cheaper than the round of drinks for that night of racing.
And just an aside on that, Owen, is that your certificate lasts a lot longer than that case of beer.
Yes.
Depends how you measure your hangover.
Right now, we've got about 40 seconds in, 70% of people have responded and 87% are in favor. We have 1 no vote and 4 abstentions. So I think we're good with this. The fee increase to $45.25 is approved, and that is $50 rounded up Canadian, including HST.
Okay, and thank you very much, everyone. And the final one here is looking to set the rush fee for those that get a surprise new sale or a surprise new boat. The rush fee, we're looking at increasing from $20 to $25 for 2022. Is there any discussion on that? And can I get a mover and seconder?
I'd just like to speak in favor of this fee increase. This does become an administrative cost that we do have to recover those costs. This isn't us lining our pockets. There is significant work that is structured in the functionality of the organization, that the rush certificates do create a new piece. You're actually stopping the normal production or creating a new production. So it's if you can't plan ahead, it's just the price of doing it.
Yes, Larry, we might add to that too, is that if you get a new boat during the winter and your certificate, you're still at the regular charge. It's only if you go somewhere and say, hey, I've just done this, you know, in July, that you're paying the rush.
Yeah, this is, hey, I have one change during the year. You can update your certificate every year if you get new sales. So this is for unusual items that are outside of the process that cost per Lake Ontario additional administrative fees. So,
all right, post the question, please.
Yep. Poll is up.
Is there anybody that's volunteering to make that motion and second that motion?
I will make the motion.
Sorry, go mover and a seconder, please.
I'll second.
Owen Schneider mover, Brian Thompson second.
Okay, so questions posted.
We're 30 seconds in, 93% in favor, nobody opposed, and 3 abstentions. I think we can close this poll out. Share the results real quick. And I think that covers all of our financial bits, Allison.
Yes, it does.
Great.